We live in a patriarchal world, whether we like it or not. It's just a fact.
And define what that is for the audience, in case there's anybody that doesn't know what that is.
It's a hierarchical structure where men are in charge. The father figure is in charge. And it's perpetuated because of power. Obviously, if someone is in power, they're at the top of the ladder, then it feels like a comfortable place to be. But it also has its drawbacks, because there's someone on top and someone who doesn't feel so good about having a secondary place.
Right.
So people have, somebody wrote a book, I think, recently that was very significant, and it's why patriarchy persists. Now, it's an interesting idea, and one that I had thought of in a different form. But these two women wrote a book, Why Patriarchy Persists. And basically what they're saying is that men if they've moved away from this, they revert back to it when they're injured psychologically, when they've lost something. For example, a relationship. It's like, if they can't have love, power is the next best thing. So they kind of kick into gear and go back into that old way of being.
Yeah.
But babies come from the womb wanting to connect.
Right.
So patriarchy isn't anything that's embedded in our brains.
Now, with some of these societal and cultural differences, changes that are happening, is that lessening? Are those roles equalizing? Should they equalize? You know, are there roles for men and women to play that are unique to them? Tell us about your thoughts and perspective on all of that, because for a lot of people, there's a lot of confusion. They don't know how they're supposed to act, what they're supposed to say, what they should be doing with all the changes and all the way we're looking at things now. What's your perspective on all that?
Well, I think that roles are really not changing. I think we're stuck in this patriarchal world that we've been in for a while. And I think men perpetuate it because they're in power. And I also think women often perpetuate it too in their male children, for example. As I have this this acquaintance, I know him quite well, and I know his mother, who is quite elderly, and I don't think she's ever said anything negative to her son, ever. So this man thinks that he's
a star.
Yeah, he's the cat's meow.
Yeah.
So women definitely perpetuate the idea.
So it hasn't lessened, or it hasn't. Are there some subtle changes or things that you see happening, and what would those be that you're witnessing?
3 or 4 years ago, I think, when the political atmosphere was different, I think I was very hopeful. I thought things were changing, that they were equalizing more. But now it seems like there's a way in which we're back. I don't know how many years or decades, but it doesn't feel like we're moving forward on that front.
Talking a little bit about, again, the focus on misogyny, for anybody watching that may have heard the word but not be significantly familiar with its meaning, the meaning of it, because I know you've told me that there's different sort of, not different meanings, but it's sort of expanded. Tell us about it.
When I did a book talk in Corning, New York, I saw a T-shirt, and it said something like, it's a very important word, but nobody knows how to spell it. So some people don't actually know what it means. Historically, it meant hatred of women. Now, women can hate other women too. It's not just men, and I never intend to bash men when I talk about these things.
Right.
Women do the same things that men do. In fact, women can be misogynist. But the term has broadened. It used to be men who really hated women. I suppose maybe women were included, but nobody really talked about that. But now it's broadened, as I said, to include dislike of women, disrespect for women, disregard of women. Unfortunately,
and that's because what's underneath all of that? That hatred, the despising. Are they threatened by them? What are some of the reasons why that would be the case?
Well, it may go back to the patriarchal world we're in.
Back to the patriarchal.
If you have power, You want to be in power.
And you don't want to see somebody
you
else.
might disregard other people's accomplishments or
Right.
abilities because that could threaten the position you're in.